Hi everyone, this is Tanya with Flying Dog Studio. Thank you so much for joining me as I take a look at the Kuretake Gansai Tambi. I don't normally paint with anything but Winsor & Newton. However, I had to purchase these and I'll explain why in a bit. As you can see, this is their 12 color set. Those are the colors there. You can take a look at Gansai Tambi, and they have an AP symbol on there. We'll talk about that in just a minute. We will flip it over here. On the back is the QR code if you want to pause your screen and take a shot of that, if you want to take a look at their website. This tells a little bit about the colors inside and that you need to use water to activate them. They might occasionally crack with dryness, and these are the colors. Let's just jump right in now and take a look. It comes in a little cellophane bag there. You saw me take that off. This is the reason that I purchased them. My daughter bought this for me. This is champagne gold. You can actually curate your set of Kuretakes, and that's good because these, like, not necessarily the colors I would have chosen. Talk about that in a second. And here is the lid. Now it tells you on the back that you can actually, on the inside right there, you can swatch the colors. They tell you to swatch the colors. But personally, I like to do it on my own paper. So I made my own little thing here where we're going to swatch the colors in just a bit and talk about all of them. This comes with like a little plastic shield on top. It's really hard to get off. And I tried pulling these colors out of the palette off screen. This is the one we're going to really talk about. This is the Cadmium Scarlet. I would not have purchased this set. It does have the AP symbol on it, but we'll talk about that in just a minute as we get started. The first thing you need to do with these, as you can see, put water in the wells and kind of let it soak in. I've seen artists with a little spray mister and they spray the entire thing, and that's a good idea to do it that way. I don't really like misters because they end up getting my entire desk wet. So I just use my brush and wet it like I would any other watercolor. I was pleasantly surprised about these, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in just a second. But first of all, let's talk about that Cadmium Scarlet. Now, anytime I purchase something online, I always take a look at the Proposition 65 warning. And if you're not from the United States, and I don't know what they have in your country, but Proposition 65 is like the toxicity warning that usually will say after it contains substances known to cause cancer in the state of California. And California will recognize things, and I always look for that symbol, seeing what California recognizes, because I do respect that, and I don't purchase things that can cause cancer. This set did not have that on there, and I didn't notice that it had cadmium scarlet. And if you're unfamiliar with what cadmium is, let me read this to you. I looked it up because cadmium is a toxic substance, and it is used in some watercolors. And this says, straight from AI Internet, the Cadmium Scarlet and Kuretake Gansai Tambi watercolor line contains trace amounts of cadmium compounds, which are heavy metals. While highly light, fast, and vibrant, true cadmium pigments pose health hazards if inhaled as dust or ingested in significant quantities. Now, I'm not going to eat it, but I actually did see on a watercolor box once, it said, do not put your brush in your mouth. I thought, who would do that? And I researched it a little bit, and there are some artists who actually get a fine tip on their brush by putting it in their mouth and pulling it out of their mouth. Don't do that, just use your fingers. But that's why it said that, because there was cadmium yellow in that set. And so that's when I first started really taking note of what was in my watercolor sets, because I taught kids and I didn't want that in my studio. Here's what else it says about it. However, in the solid water-activated pan format used by Kuretake, the pigment is chemically bound and poses no acute health risks under normal painting conditions. Many of these sets carry the Art and Creative Material Institute's AP seal, that's what you saw on the front, for safe handling by adults when used as directed. Well, as far as I know, I'm an adult. Now, I may not always act like it, but I am an adult. However, there has been a lots of cancer in my family, cancer survivors, people who have not survived cancer. My husband is a cancer survivor. He's had all three of his brothers with cancer. Two have passed away from it. My father had cancer. My mom is a cancer survivor. So I take it very seriously. And yes, cadmium can cause cancer. But a look at the bright cadmium scarlet color. And let's take a look at all of these colors. They go on like butter, absolutely like butter. And I was a little hesitant because they're a little more opaque than what I'm used to using. And I hate to say it, but I kind of like them a little bit better than my gouache paints. And I don't know if I like them better than my Winsor & Newton watercolor. I'm going to do a piece though, and we'll talk about that at the end. I'll show you a sneak peek of what we're going to be using these on. And you can see I got a little green where the black goes there. You know, it happens, but I knew I was putting black on. So in this set, you have red, you have rose madder deep, you have the cadmium scarlet, lemon yellow, sap green, viridian, ultramarine, indigo, then you have that yellow ochre, burnt sienna, black, and then you have the white at the end. And what I noticed about these, and you can see where I dripped the water in, it's not cracking yet, of course, and they're very smooth looking. I really like these colors. I've heard some artists say that there's granulation when they dry. I'm not seeing any granulation. I think what I'm seeing there is simply the texture of the paper. So that may be what other artists are seeing as well, but there's not really granulation. You can tell if you have the white just on the paper that it is white. It is slightly brighter white than my paper. And again, I swatched it on my own paper. I like to see how it does. And this is the brush I use. This is my 13 millimeter flat brush from Winsor & Newton's Cotman series. Now, usually when I do these introductions for different products, I will swatch out all the colors. I'm not going to do that on this one. You can see I have a very small swatching card. I'm going to be using that lemon yellow, and then we're going to do sap green, viridian, ultramarine, and indigo. I want to see how all of those work together. Mainly, I want to see how lemon yellow works with all of those colors. And I want to see how those colors mix as well, because the piece I'm going to be working on, you might have guessed it, with most of my things, is going to be a floral piece. And I'm going to use Beatrix Potter style inking on it. Not going to be cross-hatching. If you saw my piece before this, I did a flower and I did cross-hatching. Not going to do cross-hatching on this. It's just going to be straight inking because I want to see how these colors work on there. But I needed to know about the greens. So I'm experimenting with the greens. Now you'll see I have numbers across the top and numbers down the side. And that's because these have numbers on there. I really like that, being able to say, okay, I want a number 40 with a number 55. And look how wonderfully they mix. I decided not to mix them on a palette, but just to mix them wet on the paper. And it turned out really well. This, however, my method on this is kind of a hot mess because you notice at the top where I have the lemon yellow and the sap green. When you're doing these, you really need to skip every other one and let them dry and then come back and do the ones in between. I haven't done one of these in a while, and this is what happens when Tanya wants to do something and Tanya's just a little bit tired. She makes mistakes like this. So you can see I'm going, well, I need to skip over here and do these. So that's why I'm skipping around on here. If you're wondering why I'm not doing one box after the other, I don't want the colors to run together. It ran a little bit up at the top, but that's okay because I still see the original colors on there. So you can follow what I'm doing. I mixed 64, which is ultramarine, and now I'm putting the sap green on top. You know, there are sap green haters out there, and they're like, don't use sap green. Mix your own greens. Well, use sap green and mix it with other greens and mix it with other colors, and you'll get a variety of greens if you do that. But sure, mix your own green. Just don't leave sap green out of the mix. Pun intended. Well, as I said, I realized I need to be skipping between every other one so that they don't mix together. And it was somewhere in here that I realized, you know, I'm mixing 64 and 67. When I get down to 67, I'm going to be mixing it with 64. Normally what I will do is I'll do that double mix like that on these swatching sheets, if you've seen me do this before, and I will have like 64 as the dominant color on the 64 line, and then when I get to 67, 67 would be the dominant color. But I'm wanting a 50-50 mix on here. I'm not letting colors dry and then coming back and painting on top. We're not layering these. I'm painting them and mixing them as they are wet, and I want a 50-50 mix. So I'm running this through my brain as I'm coming back up here and painting between these. How can I do that? Well, I don't want to mix, the colors together like I normally do, like 55 and 55 or 64 and 64. So I thought, I'm going to X those boxes out. In addition to that, I need to X out all of the duplicate boxes so I don't have to make you suffer through all of that. So if that doesn't make sense to you, imagine my mind trying to figure out which ones I've done and which ones I haven't done, because at this point I'm now skipping around because I don't want them to be wet. Plus I'm trying to make certain I don't do double mixes. And I'm going to fix that problem in just a minute. You're going to see it cut away a couple of times while I pull out my pencil and put X's on boxes where I'm not going to be painting. And here we go. So I don't want to duplicate the 53s and the 55s and the 64s and the 67s. And let me think about it. Okay, I have some more X's on there. It looks like we're playing tic-tac-toe and I'm obviously losing. But there are a few more boxes I need to mark out. So I'm going to go ahead and get these yellows in. I really like this green. Look at that. And again, that's our sap green everybody hates. I love sap green. I really love this lemon yellow. To me, it's very similar to the lemon yellow in the Winsor and Newton. So I kind of like that about it. And I think a lot of these colors, even the sap green, is reminiscent of the same green. When you switch between brands of paint, you have a little bit of a variance, but to me, some of these colors were pretty close. And I will have to say, if you look at my original swatching sheet and then over on the left-hand side and then look over on the right at the actual palette, they look almost the same. Now, I think probably the indigos always look really, really dark in the palette. That and Payne's Gray, they almost look black. But for the most part, what you see in the palette is how it's going to paint on the paper. And you don't always see that with colors. So that kind of amazed me. So I'm taking a look here. And yeah, here we go. Okay, a few more X's. We're done. We have not duplicated anything. Now I want to try out that yellow ochre with all of those colors as well. So we had that sheet and ta-da, I already put the boxes down with the X's in them. So we're not going to do any of those. It's going to look a little more pulled together. Took me about 20 minutes to realize I needed to pull it together, and I apologize to you, but at this point I'd already gone too far to go back and repaint things. In my house, when you have a moment to do something, you better do it. So this is how it should have been done on the first one. You can see I'm skipping between them to allow them to dry. And again, some of these are going to be the same mixes you've already seen. What I am really interested in is that yellow ochre and how it mixes with those four colors. Now, the reason I'm going to go ahead and show you the whole thing, even though you've already seen some of these mixes, is that I did them a little bit lighter on one paper than I did on the next. So you can see, if you don't use quite as much pigment, what it's going to look like. Now, I can tell you already, all of the greens on there and the blues and the yellows I'm going to be keeping, and the burnt sienna. I won't be keeping the black. I won't be keeping the cadmium scarlet. Those are colors I just don't use. I don't use black. Normally when I'm painting with watercolor, I just don't. It kind of flattens out colors, so I don't keep that. As I said, I'm not going to be keeping the cadmium scarlet. If you have no problem using those with the cadmium, use them, because they're usually very vibrant, beautiful colors. I mean, you can see that cadmium scarlet is beautiful. as I said at the beginning of the video, you can curate your own set of Kuretakes, and that's what I'm going to do. There are some colors I would like to try out, and you can buy those individually. I have found them on a site called Jet Pens, and I'll link that down below so you can take a look. This set I bought at Michael's, and I'll put all of my links down below, paper and everything, so you'll know what I'm using. This is my absolute favorite paper because when you are painting on it, that sizing sometimes with some of these papers, and I'm trying to think of which paper it is. It's one that everybody uses. I don't use it because when it gets wet, it has a smell to it. It kind of stinks to me, but this one does not. I love this paper because it does not have a smell when you get it wet. So we're going to keep on working through these. Like I said, I already know the colors I'm going to keep. I already know the colors I want to replace. Sadly, and I guess unfortunately, this little box, you can get them in larger sets. Like there's a 24 set. I'm not sure if there's a 48, but they have bunches of colors, but they don't have any palettes you can purchase out there that you can put your curated colors in. You know, if you're wanting to do watercolor, you can buy the little pans. You can squirt tube watercolors in them, and you know, you can make your own thing. You can't do that with this. These are oblong little pans, and the boxes are cardboard, which I think again is unfortunate. You know, with watercolor, I think you need something either metal or plastic. There are some out there on Etsy that people have made. I kind of wanted something a little different though. I haven't seen any with lids that I really want. I like to have a lid on top of mine. So I guess what I'm going to have is a box that I keep my extra paints in, and the ones that I want to use at the time I'll put in this palette and then just switch them out. And I'll let you know with time which ones I choose. I want to do some with these and make sure that I want to get those colors and make a commitment to it. I believe this set with my discounts for this and that and stuff on sale was somewhere around $20. I think that's right. Somewhere in that ballpark. It was between 20 and 22 bucks for all of these. So, you know, it depends on how much you want to make an investment on these. Again, I'll be using these in the future and let you know if I like them. If you see them and then you don't see them again, then I probably didn't love them as much as I love my regular watercolors. So we have one more little section here to go, and then we'll be finished with these. And just let me say, if you're new to the channel, welcome. I'm so happy you're here. And if you hop on often, thank you for hopping on. Let me know what you think about these, and if you want to see me get some more colors and try them out, because I'll probably do that. But I want to know what you think about the colors. Let me know. So here they are, side by side. And let's take look at the two yellows together. You've got some interesting greens there. I really like those two. I like them mixed with the blues and the greens. You get a lot of good greenery color. And you're going to be seeing that in the piece that I'm doing coming up. Now you can see, like I said, the one on the right is a little bit lighter, not as much pigment as the ones on the left. You can tell they're the same colors. They're just a little bit lighter. But all in all, I really loved these, and thank you to all the other artists who do Kuretake that got me interested in them. This is the piece I'm going to be doing, and I will have this on my blog. Hopefully this video will be up on Saturday, so I'll have this. I have some more things planned. I hope you'll join me for those things, but until then, my friends, I will see you in the next one.